Good morning. My name is Megan Edwards of Focus Communications, and today we're getting another update from FireFox Gold, which trades on the Toronto Venture Stock Exchange under the symbol FFOX. And joining me today is FireFox's chairman, Patrick Highsmith. Thank you very much for joining us today, Patrick.
Well, thank you, Megan. Good to be here.
How is it going right now? Give me an overview of FireFox at the moment.
Look, obviously it's going really well, Megan. We just drilled 14 meters of 14 grams per ton, pretty much at surface in one of the hottest gold camps in the world. It's our best hole as a company so far. And right. I'm doing great. And got a few slides here for you that I'll introduce the company with, and I'll just flip through. Obviously, you know me, yes. I'll make forward-looking statements. So I hope folks will look up our precautionary language on the website. So in general, Megan, with FireFox, the play here, as you can see in this map, this is the central Lapland greenstone belt. We're north of the Arctic Circle, but you'll see towns, airports, international airports, paved highways, all this incredible infrastructure. And most importantly, the belt is just fully pegged, Megan. So the play here is that there are 4 juniors and 2 majors that control a whole greenstone belt. Now, the area here that's covered is more than 100 kilometers across and sort of 50 kilometers wide. The FireFox land position is shown here in gold. We're one of the largest tenement holders at a very reasonable pre-discovery valuation, especially in this market. But we're drilling gold, and we've done what we said we're going to do, which is we drill every year because that's how you make discoveries. In a good year, we drill more. In a bad year, we drill less. But we're drilling every year. And this year, we said we would drill 4 projects, and we did so. And we've just started announcing those results, maybe a couple of more news releases to go. We stopped drilling in May, and we just had one this week.
Like you said, you have a new announcement this week. Wednesday, the company announced some significant gold intercepts from the Mustajärvi project.
So Mustajärvi is kind of in the center of the belt here. I got a little ahead of myself. I want to say one other thing, Megan, about this belt, and then I'll go through that news release. Okay. And it's this slide here. And let me just say, in a nutshell, folks investing in gold are familiar with greenstone belts. Here's several of them around the world plotted to scale on the right-hand side. And the central Lapland greenstone belt is the one in Finland. The play, why Lapland? Why would you look at this part of the world? It's pretty simple. On the left, we have a graph of all the gold in those various greenstone belts and how many mines there are. You'll notice the Abitibi in Canada, 40 deposits and growing, 85 million ounces of gold and growing. The Norseman Wiluna belt in Australia, similar rocks to what we have in Finland. What is that? 45 deposits, 75 million ounces and growing. In Lapland, there are only 2, count them, 2 multi-million ounce deposits, a few very small ones, and only 14 million ounces, or about 13 million ounces of gold in resources. That's just not going to stay that way, Megan. It needs exploration. This is the early days of this camp, and that's why we're doing FireFox in Lapland. And just wanted to give that sort of that overview. And so these are the 4 projects we drilled this year. In the sort of south center of the slide, you'll see a circle around the Mustajärvi project. And that's where we're going to go now. And I'll recap the news release from earlier this week. The story at Mustajärvi, we've had this project since we launched the company in 2018 when we listed. And you can see there's a paved highway passing through the project. I'll just see if I can mark up the slide a little bit here. There's a paved highway passing through the project right here. You can see these pretty colors are the magnetics there. Sorry, let me get out of this bloody thing. Okay, and so the highway passes through the project. We're literally midway between 2 of the large towns in the Arctic. We have Kittilä to the west of us and Sodankylä to the east of us. And we've been drilling here for a few years, still only about 11,000 meters of total drilling on the project. And the news really is, if you look at these magnetics, we've identified 4 targets here. In 3 of those targets, we've now drilled 90 gram meter holes or better. So there's 5 holes that are almost 100 gram meters or more. They stretch for over 1.5 kilometers, Megan, from the central zone in the center of the slide to the east target in the upper right, which is where this week's results have come from. This is a real breakthrough when you're looking for gold, because a little bit of high-grade gold it's always good, but it might not mean that much. But now you get a bit more and a bit more. And now we've got over 1.5 kilometers. 5 of these holes have hit thick, high-grade intersections. And most recently, we announced our best hole on this project from the east target. You can see on the bullet points here, hole MJ006 in 2022. We hit 13.85 meters of 14.39 grams, only about 20 meters vertically below surface. It included higher grade 5.65 meters at 25 grams, a meter at 60 grams almost, and several other high-grade intercepts. This is what happens at Mustajärvi. We keep drilling. We've hit high-grade gold a number of times. Often it's a bit thinner, Megan, and here we blocked it out now to 14 meters of very good mineralization, as you can see. The project has continued to yield these hits. This is another slide from the northeast target. You can see we put a number of holes in that because we hit plus 100-gram intercepts here, visible gold. We had an interval here of 16.5 meters of almost 7 grams per ton. And you can see we outlined these so-called in echelon veins, those little shapes with question marks that we've drilled through, multiple pods of high-grade mineralization there. But we went 700 meters away from here with the drilling we just announced, and we drilled these hits we're just talking about today. Here we're showing some photo of this rock. You'll see in the upper right, there's a photo with some visible gold if you look closely. And in the lower picture there, Megan, is a box of core that is pretty much all quartz and pyrite and gold. And this is what these high-grade intercepts look like, where these veins have coalesced into larger volumes of rock that are mineralized. And in the hole we announced this week, what's different is we're seeing more sort of disseminated bulk style of mineralization over greater widths than we've seen before. And this is important because the latest multi-million ounce discovery in Lapland, drilled by Rupert Resources, it's over 4 million ounces and growing. And it's noted there in a similar package of rocks. But there you see, instead of these narrow high-grade, thicker zones of disseminated pyrite, more like what we've just announced in this zone in our east target. So that's sort of the story at Mustajärvi.
Well, so with the success in the eastern target, could you give us a bit of a run through of the next steps for the company from the Mustajärvi project?
Yeah, and I'll run through both. I'll show you what we're going to do at Mustajärvi next. I'll just flip back a couple of slides here. But what we have a few more holes to report yet this summer, Megan. As I said, we drilled to the end of May. We're going to have a couple more holes in the east target that are quite close to where we've just drilled this high-grade zone. So that'll be in the upper right of the slide here. So we show on the figure in the news release a couple of holes here, results still pending. Then if you look 2.5 kilometers to the southwest, Megan, you see the Gabbro target there. We've drilled the first proper drilling across that target, different rocks there. Maybe a more bulk style of mineralization would be the target there. We're waiting on assays from about 5 or 6 holes in the Gabbro target still to come, and a couple of holes in the middle of the slide in the central zone as well. So the first thing we're going to do is get all the news out. Now, we use the summer there when the snow has melted off to go out and map and do geophysics and things like that. And we will be drilling again at Mustajärvi. We'll be returning to the east target where we've had these spectacular results. And depending on the results we see in the Gabbro target and the central zone, we'll be drilling more at Mustajärvi. We tend to like to start drilling in Finland in about October. We work through the fall, then things freeze up, and it's easier to work when the ground is hard and frozen. And we always drill through the winter here. So that's what we'll be doing at Mustajärvi. I just note here, if you look closely at the slide, in white there in the center, you see those tenements to the north are held by B2 Gold, one of the 2 majors that is our co-explorers here in the belt with us. And they're our neighbor here at Mustajärvi. So we hope they're paying close attention as we drill high-grade gold near their property boundary. Also, Megan, we're going to go on to a couple of other projects, and I'll just comment right now what we're doing. This is our huge Yesio project. It's about 30 kilometers to the southeast from Mustajärvi, where we just were. Our neighbors here are Orion Resources, another junior active in the belt. And if you look at the south of this slide, there's an area called the Kataya belt to the south. You see some big orange circles there. Right now, we have guys trenching in the field. They are out there literally today where we've cut into the hillside where we have rock chip samples up to 10 grams per ton coming to surface with no drilling ever. Not many places in the world where you can do that. And we're doing that here in Finland. So we'll trench there first, and we'll probably be drilling later in the season at the southern part of the Yesio project here as well. And here I'm just zooming into the area there. We've zoomed in on that Kataya belt, and you see those warm colors are magnetic rocks. And where those things are cut up with faults, and you see more of the yellow and green colors, that contrast in the magnetics is telling us there's probably some alteration there. And if you look closely at the slide, you can see rock chip samples of 6.39, 10.5 grams per ton. And right there is where we have geologists in the trenches taking samples today. So we'll get those results announced during the summer. And again, queue up a likely drill program here starting in the latter part of the year.
Okay.
The last area that we'll be talking about in the news is our Sarvy project, which we show here, and the Kolho project in the center of the slide. This is an area that's just north of Rupert's huge new Ikari discovery. We show a couple of highlights on this slide. You can see in the bottom of the slide, there's a little red shape there. I'll see if I can put a circle on it. Right down here is the Ikari discovery. There's that 4 million ounces that we have there at that Rupert has there at Ikari, and we're the neighbor there to Ikari, and we're exploring immediately to the north at our Sarvy project. We've done one phase of drilling there, never drilled before. We didn't hit a lot of gold. We hit one little area of anomalous gold, but the other area you'll see a lot of news on starting later in the year is this giant Kolho property in the upper right. First, I'll just show you one more slide on Sarvy. We've zoomed in there. Now there's Ikari at the south of the slide. That's all Rupert's ground. And then our boundary to the north, where you see all that magnetic data, 8 kilometers long, that property. We just put the first 12 holes into it, widely spaced. We hit a little bit of anomalous gold inside that purple block there that you can see in the upper left of the Sarvy property. And the other drill holes there are following up on base of till samples. That's one thing I tell the audience here, Megan. All of this part of the world, with few exceptions, is covered with thin glacial sediments, which obscure the bedrock. One reason that gold's been hiding there all these years is the rocks don't generally come to the surface. And so we have to use this method called base of till, where we drill through those sediments, sample at the base of it. That's how Ikari was discovered, by the way. They drilled 16,000 of those base of till samples there to make the Ikari discovery. We've only got about 2,000 on Sarvy so far, but this is going to continue to be a hotbed of exploration with us in this area, Rupert, obviously, and B2 Gold drilling just west of Rupert there. So it's kind of a hot area of focus. And there you see the drill holes we've just announced the results for, kind of spread all over the property. And as I said, we got one good hit in the first hole, and more work to do there. We'll be generating targets and probably drilling beneath this swampy area when it freezes up in the winter of 2022, 2023. But let me just close with this huge new Kolho property. We had a news release about this about 3 weeks ago. Huge new property here. And what we've done is this is magnetics data. And again, we've circled Ikari on the left-hand image there, Megan, at the bottom of the slide. And if you look at that bright spot in that data, you can see these lines that come through it, and they sort of curve to the north. I'll see if I can illustrate that. So they sort of curve like so, and they wrap up through this part of our property. This is the giant Kolho property, and we've now pegged that whole area, and we've made applications for a brand new project, which will be our 5th permitted drill-ready project. It's 150 square kilometers. And we have 2 areas we've circled there, which are a similar setting to the geological setting at Ikari. And we got to do a lot more exploration here. On the right-hand slide, you can see a blue line that we highlighted there. That's actually a structural zone that comes through our project like so, kind of similar to the structural zone that hosts Agnico Eagle's giant Kittila mine right there. So again, geology is about analogs. We're looking for analogs for this emerging greenstone belt. And one of the hottest new projects in the belt is going to be our huge Kolho property. We've already entertained joint venture offers, but we own this, like all of our projects, 100%, Megan, and we're exploring this for the benefit of FireFox shareholders. Maybe we will do a joint venture one day, but meanwhile, we're going to keep our core properties like the Mustajärvi discovery, 100% FireFox. And so look for more news flow from Mustajärvi this summer, more work at Sarvy, and pay special attention to Kolho as we expect to be drilling Kolho when the permits are issued, probably in early 2023. This timeline shows you what we've done, and you can see the drilling will kick up again in the 4th quarter. Some more results to report from several of these projects, as I've said. And again, we like to drill starting in the fall and drill through the winter as we did this year. And we tend to do what we say we're going to do at FireFox. We drilled all 4 projects last year. We said we would, and we delivered more high-grade gold at Mustajärvi, as we highlighted this week.
And so that's what investors can look forward to from FireFox for the second half of the year?
Absolutely. I mean, we're out there exploring for the gold today that will be tomorrow's hard currency. And in this market of high inflation and uncertainty in the currencies, we really believe in what we're doing, exploring for gold here. And you need to go to a world-class belt like this to make those kind of discoveries. And Lapland and Finland has been yielding of those kind of discoveries, and we're one of the big players here. So check us out.
Well, thank you so much for today. We look forward to hearing more from you. You're going to be very busy, and I'd love to hear more in the future about FireFox Gold.
We'll be back whenever there's news to talk about.